YouTube, what's good, Oh yeah, this is my first time doing this, so y'all gotta bear with me, I'm trying to learn some things and get some things in order, so if y'all can come in, let me know what's good, so looking rough, but um as y'all see in the title, this one is gonna be about judgment. I made this about judgment, you know what I'm saying, because a lot of people got it misconstrued when it comes to judging. And assuming that you're not supposed to judge. Judging is can I put this? Judging is the way culture is created. It's the way you keep culture together. Judging is the way you make sure that evil can't run rapidly. You don't want evil to run rapidly. Judgment is giving a determination of what's wrong and what's not wrong, what is accepted and what's not accepted. This should be every culture's right. There shouldn't be a culture or an ethnicity or nationality that causes another culture or ethnicity to have to put away their beliefs and understandings because it offends the next nation. You know, in the culture I come from, we very much judge. You're supposed to judge, You're giving a calling of what's right and wrong. You have to, this is an obligation. You're obligated to judge. It is to not judge, you're doing your people a dissatisfaction. However you put that word. But how can I say this? What can I say this? It is your right to determine what you accept and what you don't accept. It is to tell, for example, to tell your child, let's say your child, to tell your child, don't behave that way. We don't do those things. Don't let me see you do that again. You're doing that because his behavior is, or her behavior is not something that acceptable. Maybe they're passing licks. You don't want them hitting on the next child. So you would tell them, we doesn't do that. That is a judgment that keeps the child with integrity, keeps the child with morality, to not, the child is, no one can tell you, you know, that child can hit whoever he wants, or she can hit whoever she wants. Who are you to tell him or her that is wrong? You know, and that's what our society has to get past. We have to get past the fact that, you know, individuals, and not just individuals, certain cultures look at things as wrong. Certain cultures look at things as just. And it's always going to be like that. When you have this melting pot of America, all these ethnicities that are mushed together, then certain ethnicities are giving up who they are. You know, for example, mines. We gave up who we are. We celebrate Christmas, that's not who we are. We celebrate Easter, that's not who we are. We celebrate all these holidays, that's not who we are. And when you look to the left and to the right, the other nations are doing, Asians are doing it, Spanish are doing it. They're celebrating nations that's not theirs. So if a nation comes along and says that they accept this type of behavior, that they're allowed to celebrate these type of festivals, and you say no, that is wrong, then no one has the right to tell you that isn't wrong. No one has the right to tell you who are you to say these are wrong, because they're not. Normally, 9 times out of 10, they're not even part of your ethnicity. They're not part of your nationality. They don't know what morals and integrity that your people must keep, have to keep. So if a father tells his son that you can't be a man fan, you can't be my son to be a man fan, you can't be my child, and you touch on children. You can't be my child and you shed innocent blood. You hurt innocent people. You can't be my child and you abusing your wife or you're stealing from any neighbors, family members. You can't be my child. And you have some people in society that wants you wants a man to love his child regardless of what's the behavior. If he decides to be a tambourine player in our community, we know what tambourine players are. If he decides to be that, I'm supposed to support that. That can never be supported by me. You know what I'm saying? I don't put human emotions and human feelings before the most highest protocol. We can jump into what the most high ordains, but we don't want to jump into that right now. So let's just stick with the judgment. When it comes to judgment, when it comes to judging, um, you're determining what should be accepted, what shouldn't be accepted. And then you're being scrutinized because there's people who run this land that we live in that feels the things that you don't accept, they do accept. And the fact that you don't accept them, you're hindering the people around you or the people you pass in judgment on. You're not allowing them to be free. And the thing is, if a woman don't tell another woman that that hot girl summer shit is out, you don't need to be doing that. That chasing the bag in the most negative way possible is out. We don't accept that. If you um, departing from a man because he's not popular no more, or he's not, no longer your type, we don't accept that. Um, a man putting his hands on a woman, we don't accept that. Um, I'm gonna keep it honest with you, be honest with you. When I was in this whole Christianity movement and Christian things, I did all the sinful stuff. I did all the sinful stuff, um, a whoremonger, abusive towards women, um, um, a lazy spirit, everything. I accepted it all. You know, it was kind of like, who are you to judge? So, but once you realize that Christianity is not it's not for the melanin. It's not for the melanin. I know that may offend people, but it's just not. So, um, when you actually wake up and not saying I'm woke, I'm still scratching the surface, so this is deep. What This is my first live. I'm gonna keep it real. So I might be all over the place with this live, but this is my first live. I ain't had to get in this corner. You know what I'm saying? I ain't want y'all seeing all my house. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man. I live alone. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I'm lazy when it comes to cleaning up. But this the thing. When it comes to judging um, is how you keep your culture your culture. If you know that in our culture we don't deal with other races, we don't date outside our race, we don't mix pit bulls with German shepherds. You just keep it a pit bull. If you understand that, then you understand, you know, if any other man in the village step outside of that, then there it's a violation that needs to be judged. If the women are stepping outside of that, it's a violation that needs to be judged. That's it. If you're worshiping a false god or a god that belongs to other nations, and because one thing a melanin person, a Hebrew person needs to understand is that these other nations don't like nothing about you. So if that God was really your God, they wouldn't even be worshiping. They don't like nothing about you. That's almost just common sense. That's before we even dig into anything like that, because I have billions of understanding when it comes to that out the good book. Um, but that's one thing you gotta understand. Anything we was cut off from being a nation. That's one thing. We was cut off from being a nation. We waged war. We went through war, and we was very successful at war. Hebrew melanin people always been successful in war. You know, we was defeated this last war that put us into bondage. It was a reason for it. Those will be on later videos. But when it comes to judging, you know, you have to determine that I can't allow my child to go off into this path. I can't allow my family to go off into this path and behave like the surrounding nations. There's surrounding nations, and for us to behave like those surrounding nations will be a it'll be a disgrace to our ancestors. Our ancestors um, didn't take on the ways of nobody else. So it's actually a sin, like Jeremiah 10, verse 1 through 4, or something like that. It's a sin to take on the ways of heathens, to take on the ways of Gentiles. So when these other races are trying to make us feel bad, these other cultures are trying to make us feel bad for not accepting certain things. And we got to understand that is just a part of them wanting us to submit to their culture, and we cannot do so, you know. So judging is something that's very much needed. It's extremely needed. It's extremely much needed. A child can't tell a mother, "Who are you to tell me I can't do drugs when you had me out of wedlock?" We can't be sitting there saying that weird stuff. Like she may have committed a sin and didn't have you out of and had the child out of wedlock. But as the mother, she has every right. No one can be saying these foolish thoughts. Well, who are you to judge? You know, when you have this and you this going on. Like if I said a few lies in my life, I may have said a lie. I may have tried to not hurt somebody's feelings by saying a lie. That doesn't mean that disqualify me from telling my child you can't do this or that's not right to do that. That doesn't disqualify me. You know what I'm saying? That's what people need to understand. I still have the right to tell my son we don't touch on what's like us. I still have the right to tell my son don't join that game. I still have the right to tell my son don't hit that woman. I still have the right to tell my son don't react like that out of anger. We don't do that. I still have that right. Like judging is how you that's how steel sharpens steel. Judging is how, you know, we can sit here and let some pork loving, evil, behind the scenes KKK dude sit on a podium and judge, or sit on the stand and judge our children, and send them away for life, send them away for years. But we don't say nothing to them. So if that person has the right to judge, someone you don't know, someone who doesn't care about you, someone that this is money, they get paid at the end of the week, at the end of 2 weeks, the end of the month salary, whatever. Just 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 a job, you just business. For them to be able to judge you, you don't say nothing to them, but you say something to your mother when she judges. Makes no sense. It makes literally no sense. If your mother says we don't wear your shoes in my house, that's something we don't do. You don't have the right to say, "Mom, who are you? I wear my shoes anywhere I want." Can't tell me not to take out my shoes. She has that right. If she says, "Why do you dress like that? Don't wear half naked outfits. You're getting the wrong attention." You already had a niece or a such and such that was hurt or kidnapped or this and that. You cannot look at her and just say, "Mom, who are you to judge me? I wear what I want to wear. I dress how I want to dress." then you must, those people who feel like they can do what they want to do should be cut off. That's just how it's supposed to be. When you read the Bible, you see that people who didn't even celebrate the Sabbath when it was supposed to be celebrated was cut off. People who committed sins was cut off. That's just how it goes. That's just how it will always be. You know, when it comes to dealing with other nations and interacting with other nations and having children with other nations, that's between you and the Most High, to be honest with you. Because I, the bad part about that, and this is what people need to understand. The bad part about that, it's not bad to have a child by another nation. That's not the bad part. That's not what the Most High is angry about. What He's angry about is that you come from a different part, and that other nation comes from a different part. The Most High is your God. He's the God of Abraham and Isaac. He tells you this. So He's telling you this to let you know I'm not everybody's God. So if you mix with these people, then the child that you have is confused to, should he be over here with Achilles and Zeus and Jesus, or should he be over here with Yah? See, this is what the Most High is trying to prevent. He's trying to prevent the nations that come, the descendants that come outside of this man, that comes from this man. He's trying to prevent these descendants from being part of a nation that's not theirs, from worshiping something that's false. So, in order to prevent that, he just says, don't deal with those nations. Do not deal with them, or they'll turn you away from me. This is found in Deuteronomy. They'll turn you away from me. They'll turn your sons and daughters away from me. So, the Most High fears, I ain't gonna say the Most High fear. The Most High does not want his children, his inheritance, because he has an inheritance. He don't want his inheritance worshiping false God. It angers him. It's a punishment for that. That punishment is bondage. So anytime you worship a false God, you're being in bondage. You're going to slavery. So what does that mean? That means if your ancestors experienced slavery on this land, on Turtle Island. Don't get me wrong, we are Aboriginals, so it's weird. You know what I'm saying? The the 12 tribes of Israel are split into two different sides. You know, the north and the south side. The south side is 2.5 tribes. The north side is like 9.5 tribes. The north side of the Israelites was a traveling, extremely traveling side, you know, and he tells you that they didn't even want to return home after a Syrian captivity because they was in fear of becoming slaves again. So they didn't even want to go home because they thought they'd become slaves again, and they traveled west. So when the Bible speaks on them traveling west, and then America, Turtle Island is the Western Hemisphere, it kind of lets you know that the northern tribe are Aboriginals. The southern tribe came on ships, you know, but they're still the same. They still come from the same person. They still come from Abraham and Isaac, you know. So a very small percentage came on ships of the southern tribe. The southern tribe was warriors. They was ready to wage war and fight without the northern tribe. They didn't care about that. They was ready to go to war, and they did, and they were successful. You know, they were so successful. They were so. That's another story, but I'm gonna say that they were so successful that even Caesar had to call on Flavian family. He had to call on the Flavian family to assist him with dealing with these people because they was rebellious people. They raged war every chance they get. Every chance they got, they raged war. When Caesar built statues in our land, we tore them down. When he built statues in our land, we tore them down. You know, and if we ever seen somebody worshiping those statues, we passed judgment. We told them that was a sin. But we didn't pass judgment with words. We actually smited their ass. We actually got rid of them. That's how serious it was back in those days. We got rid of them. You know, so judgment was actually an action. It wasn't just me opening my mouth, hey, you don't do that. You don't wear the garments of woman, or don't wear a dress now. Come on now, come on. You don't it wasn't none of that. If we found you doing that, we snatch you up. You going to the priest. you know. And when we get there, we finna put all your sins and everything that goes against the Most High on display. The priests usually the ones who can talk to the Most High. Most High usually communicates. They are anointed. Anybody that's anointed is considered the Messiah. King David was anointed. King Solomon was anointed. Jesus was never anointed. You know, one thing you got to understand is that a lot of this is being done to take Israel or the Chaldeans or the Hebrews, whatever you want to call it. It's done to take them further and further and further away from Yah. These other nations want Yah to have a perpetual anger against us. They want his anger towards us to be never ending. They want it to be forever. It's the only way they can stay in power. The minute that um, you separate the books, they're two books. Understand that it's two books. You have the Old, you have the New Testament. You have the Bible, and you have the Torah or the Tanakh. Once you separate that, one thing you got to understand that they don't go together. A lot of people probably like, yes, they do. No, they don't. They don't go together. But there was no TV back then. There was none of that back then. So writing was something that a lot of people was considered the Michael Jordan of writing. Some people was considered you feel me? Understand what I'm trying to say? What I'm trying to say that there was people who wrote and had hidden messages behind what they was writing. They had what they wrote was in parables. They spoke that they were so good at writing, and it had movies. There wasn't no such thing as movies. So a book was like a movie. Understand when TV first came out and how people was excited about that. That's how it was about a book back then. It was exciting, extremely exciting. You probably would see a book on the ground or somewhere and you would cherish it. You probably get killed if somebody caught you with the book because somebody wanted it. It was like money. It was like, what I'm saying? It's so when you got these people writing these books, they have nothing else to distract them. Not a football game, not a basketball game, not the TV, not the internet, not console, not nothing. There's nothing to distract them. The most exciting thing on earth right now is a book. It's writing. So they become brilliant. They become extremely brilliant. They become better at writing than anybody on the face of this earth currently. They became good at it. They able to take the adventures of Titus and his brother, the Flavian family. They took the adventures of the people that were the Egyptians. They took the adventures of Horus. They took the adventures of Moses. They took the adventures of the children of Israel that was found in the Torah and the Tanakh and the Apocrypha. They took all these stories and they created their own stories and they mimicked those stories, And this is the reason why a lot of people be like, man, what they talking about, you can find it over here. What the New Testament talking about, you can find it over there. Yeah, because it's just plagiarism. All of this plagiarism of the Torah, it's plagiarism of Quran, it's plagiarism of Kemet, it's plagiarism of masonry, it's plagiarism of so many different cultures that Javin has conquered. And the Most High tell you, Javin will enlarge himself. So Javin is Japheth. Japheth is a Gentile. The Gentile is Caucasian. It goes on and on the line and line. And they enlarge themselves to be the largest. You know what I'm saying? Like Spaniard or Spanish, the Spaniard language was their language before English. So when you see that language in all these countries, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Mexico, you see these everywhere, that's another sign of how much they was conquering shit. They was really on that move. It was really on that move, conquering, Hey, women was very hideous, so that explains why they wanted to get up out that land and go travel and explore some shit. Like, get away from these. Like, these women look like us, like men. But let me stop. But man, it's only gonna get better. You know what I'm saying? I actually started this just looking on my computer, and I looked and seen I can go live. Let me see if I can go live. And I realize I can. So what I'm doing is I'm just, seeing how I take, you know what I'm saying? So I'm talking about fresh up. Ain't even washed my face, none of that type of shit. Just got on here to talk, and let everybody know. Just have a quick topic, you know what I'm saying? I might have a lot of topics. It's gonna be a lot of topics on here, and no disrespect to nobody. One thing I don't want to do is ruffle feathers, you know what I'm saying? This message is really for my people, you know what I'm saying? And it's also for the nations that want to follow my people. You know what I'm saying? The Israelites is a light for the world. So if people want to follow that light, salvation is for them. I'm not like the ones that sit on the corner and spew eat. Edomite is not a Caucasian. You know what I'm saying? It's like Esau is not the white man. I'm not that. My understanding is deep. They still believe in Jesus. They still follow the New Testament. So they're still Christians. So when you put understanding in the definition, of a Christian, it's the faith in Christ. The definition of a Christian is faith. It also means poor fellow, which means ignorant, which means lost. You know, that's a King James Bible University definition. That's not my definition. It's a King James Bible University definition of what Christianity means. It means poor fellow. So, but it also means to believe in Christ. You know, so when you see these Israelites on the corner speaking on this Christ and calling him by a different name, saying he's Yahushai or whatever, they're Christians. That means they believe in him. That means it don't matter what name you're trying to change, you believe in those words that's being written in Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. You're believing those words that's written. It don't matter if you like that's not his name, you give him this name. That's not his complexion, we give him this complexion. Forget all that. The text, the typing, the literature, you believe in that. That makes you a Christian. That's just facts. That's facts. But what a melanin person should understand, when you dot to that place, that church, when you go listen to that pork loving pastor, when you go listen to him, when you look to the left, you see an Asian family. You look to the right, you see a Spanish family. You look behind, you see a Caucasian family. You look in front of you, you see an Arab Indian family. What am I getting at by that is that you see every ethnicity in Christianity, which makes it a religion. It makes it a religion, So in that religion, we are being scrutinized because that religion doesn't give us the right to judge. It doesn't. That religion goes against that. It doesn't give us the right to judge. So uh, that's another clear indication it's not for us. You know, it's like we're culture people. We're not religion. Being an Israelite is culture. It's not religion. And you probably ask yourself, how? What's the difference? How can you separate this belief and say this one is religion and this one is culture? Simple. Because in the Israelite, when you look to your left, your right, in front of you and behind you, you see your people. You see Judah, Manasseh, Levi, Reuben. You see your people. Example, Chinese people. When you see the Chinese people have a celebration, that dragon festival, you don't go nowhere else in the world and see people do a dragon festival. When you see the Chinese people eat with chopsticks, you don't go in France and see them eating with chopsticks, or you don't be in America and see them eating with chopsticks. They eat with a fork. What that means is you don't look at them chopsticks and say, "Oh, that's a religion." You look at those chopsticks and say, "Oh, that's their culture," because they don't look to the left and see a black man with chopsticks. They don't look to the right and see they see they people with chopsticks and they don't force it on nobody else. It's their culture. What makes the Hebrew Israelites a culture and not a religion? Moses made them a culture. It was a culture before, but Moses made them a culture. Why? Because Moses gave them something that he didn't give to nobody else. When he gave them the laws, it's over 600 laws. Understand that. not those 10 commandments. There's over 600 laws now. But when Moses gave them those laws, the Most High never said, Moses, go walk to Italy and give it to them. Moses, go walk to China, go give it to them. Go walk over there. Make sure you travel over there and give them the laws. No. What does that mean? That means that this is something that nobody else does, making it a culture. It is something. Those rules and regulations, those laws, statutes, and commandments was given to this ethnicity and not to that one, and not to that one, not to that one, not to that one, nobody else. It was given to them. It's their culture. Matter of fact, if those rules, laws, statutes, and commandments are broken by anybody, it doesn't really matter. It wasn't given to them. If it's broken by those people who was in that wilderness, if it was broken by those who was in the wilderness, punishment would take place immediately. That's just common sense. That's common sense. If the mother is telling her child, do not be in the streets, do not go in the street, and she comes outside and all five, six, seven kids in the neighborhood is in the streets, she's not going to punish all five and six neighbor that's in the streets. She's going to grab her child, punish that child because that child was given a law. That child was given a rule and they disobeyed the rule. This rule may apply to all the kids. All the kids should be not be in the streets or they get hit by the car. It applies to all of them. But the person that's giving out this rule gave it to this individual, this specific person. If they break the rule, judgment takes place. If they break that rule, I'm judging your ass. I may judge you to a timeout. I may judge you to a few licks. We don't spare the rod now. Ain't no sparing the rod. That's how you make it, that's how you make a strong son, you know. But those things are given. This is just a little bit of understanding because a lot of people probably gonna get upset. You know, we gotta we don't judge because you gotta have people the freedom to do this. That it doesn't work that way. Nobody looks at a law. Nobody can tell the Most High, well, these laws that you got, I can understand that you want them to obey these laws, but when it comes to me, I feel I was born this way. I feel like I should have the right to do this. The Most High doesn't look at it like it applies to everybody but you. You're fine. It doesn't even go that way. Things don't happen that way. He doesn't get to, it opens the doors for all type of evil. Not judging opens the door for all type of evil to come in. Now people can say they have a feeling for little children. And who are you to judge? Now people can say they was born like that. And who are you to judge? Evil can run rapid now. It can run rapid. It can run rapid. It will get to the point where even killing people, they won't go be punished for it because they was born that way. They was born having that evil desire. They was born wanting to do that. And who are you to tell them that they're wrong? Who are you to tell them that they're wrong? This is where not judging it is going. It's going into that direction. It's going into who are you to tell me that my fetish for this animal is wrong? I can touch on this animal. This is where when you say you don't have the right to judge, who are you to judge? You know, that is just, I been did this. This is probably like my longest video I ever did. Even the videos I be making. I know y'all check this channel out. Y'all looking at like, man, you make videos about all type of stuff, rap music, all this type of stuff, all this craziness. But you speak something serious. When you speak something serious, man, I just feel like I just feel like, you know, it's time for us to get back to us. It's time for us to get back to our culture. You got weird people like Busta Rhymes saying that the blacks don't have a culture. You know what I'm saying? He tried to give Latinos a a spot or 50% um, acknowledgement of creating hip hop. Like that's I have Spanish friends to this day that they parents don't want to hear that. Don't even come in their house. They don't want to hear that. It's just weird, you know. He's not really an American, should I say. He's a Hebrew, but he's not an American. He's like a Jamaican. He's not American. But what I don't understand is like fine flour is found in the Torah. Flour and fine oil is found in the Torah. So we was being fried and stuff. So when you see that fried food, that's Hebrew culture. That's black culture. When you see all the millions and millions of dances that we created, that everybody imitates. That's Hebrew culture. That's black culture. That's black American culture. Facts. When you see the way we style our hair, the way we style our hair, as far as locks, as far as braids, as far as all of them things. This is all of black culture. This is all American culture, to be honest with you. It's all American culture. You know, I really never seen no melanin person, no other land playing with the Clippers the way black Americans play with those Clippers. We probably gave that understanding to everybody. I never seen no culture in the world do hairstyles the way the women in America, the black women in America do hairstyles. That's culture. You know, the bands, the marching bands, that's culture. The step teams, that's culture. The drill teams, dum, 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 dum. All that's culture. I don't know what this man's talking about, Buster Rhymes, when he says that, you know. But all of that is culture. All of that is culture. The breakdancing, that's culture. The R&B, that's culture. Rap, that's culture. Whether it was positive rap or the rap we see today, it's all part of what we do. Um, Swag, that's black American culture. Um, a lot of these topics I can go on and on, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna leave y'all with that, and next time I'll be a little more prepared. I don't got no little extras right now. I'm gonna get the little extras with the little mic and the lightings and all that, and probably get some pictures on the wall, and probably move this into a different part of the house, and have a few guests on. This is all gonna grow. I'm gonna change the channel to VGD TV. And we're gonna start getting our podcast on. But with that much respect to everybody, much love to everybody, no disrespect. Um, um, we all just trying to make a way in America. We all trying to make a way in America, and I'm no better than the next. But what I can say is that I seek the Most High. I seek the Most High. I don't believe in evil having a superhero. I don't believe in that. That just far fetched. But it's not just an opinion. It's actually documented in very proof, which I will bring out later. Extreme proof, abundance of proof in the good book. In the good book. I ain't running to another book to try to prove something is false in this book. I'm gonna go. It's right in the good book. So um, just understand key words, understand key things, like understand the Flavian family, understand them, understand Rome have a place in the Bible. They even have their own book in the Bible. Understand Titus. has his own book in the Bible. These are for a reason. These are for a reason. I'm not Roman or pro-Roman. I'm not none of that. You know, you see in the Bible, Jesus say, "Give to Caesar what belongs, or render to Caesar what belongs to Caesar." That has no benefit for Israel. That has no benefit for us. That's pro-Roman. These is just a little common sense things. We speak on the spirit. From Genesis all the way to Psalm, we speak on the spirit. In the Bible, they speak on the ghost, Holy Ghost or whatever. Look up what, 10, 15, 20. Look up all the dictionaries on earth. And you give me the definition of a ghost, and see, can that be holy? Uh Look up certain keywords like into. Into means intercourse. It means sex. So if it says he went into her, that means he had sex. So that means they had sex. So um, when you look at Genesis 6, you see that uh, verse 1 through 4, 5, Genesis 6, you see that the children, the sons, plural, what they have, sons of the Most High, saw that the women of men that come out of men, that come from people like me, come from people like the next door neighbor, um, had daughters. And these sons of God saw that these daughters was favorable, and they took these daughters and they slept with these daughters, creating all of these giants and Goliaths and Hercules and Achilles. It creating all these have men, have God. And the Most High saw that that was evil and destroyed the world. But when we fast forward to the New Testament, something comes down and sleeps with Mary. Somebody who belongs to somebody. A woman who belongs to somebody. The Most High using women who belongs to somebody else. There's 1,000, 100,000s, millions of women on the land of marriageable age that's not even marriageable. That's not even married yet. That would have never had to explain anything to Joseph, even though that's fairy tale. Joseph would have never had to be feel some type of way when. Let me not get off. Let me go and get out of here, man. Look, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a topic. I'm gonna have the next topic. I'm gonna get the notes together. I'm gonna get the understanding together, and I'm gonna get the next topic ready for it. And go on and on from there. But what I need y'all to do is in the description, or not in the description, but in the comment section, let me know, some of the things that make you stick to Christianity, whether it's certain passages, whether you just follow what mama and grandma was doing and daddy and grandpa was doing, whether you feel like you have a connection, you know what I'm saying? You feel like you have what they say, a relationship. You hear that a lot. Let's just, leave it in the comment section. But it's been good talking to y'all. I appreciate y'all tuning in with me, and tune in some more. Hit that like button, that comment button. I'm new at this. Leave a comment, hit the like button, and subscribe for me. Ooh, I got it. And we gonna have more to come. Y'all have a good one. I'm out. That was